Hey, Mark Warnke here with PackGoats.com. I'm on Kimberlite Ranch in the kitchen, dining room, living room. It's a little room. What I'm going to do is kind of break down this comprehensive goat nutrition guide that Christy, one of my staffers who's just awesome, put together. Lots of research here, everything scientifically based. It's not lore or legend or what Matilda said, it is what the science said. Our goal is to release this in a 3-part series. So we're going to start off on kind of the initial introduction of the nutritional information from the beginning, and then we'll have a middle, and then we'll have an end. It's a 3-part series. And so hope you enjoy it. Today's day and age, this PDF is available. You can download it on PackGoats.com, get it for free. I'm gonna speak the whole thing because some people just don't read anymore, and we really want this information out there. So I'm going to read and comment as we go. So, comprehensive goat nutrition guide. The most important thing to consider with regards to your goat's nutrition plan is to know your goat, your water composition, the minerals, and the nutrient value of grass, hay, or alfalfa in your area. Geographically, water, dietary minerals, mineral deficiencies, and nutritive value of grasses will vary. It's recommended that you test your water and grass, hay, alfalfa for calcium and phosphorus levels. A solid, healthy feeding plan will vary between goat owners. There is no one size fits all for your goat's nutritional needs and the space in which they live. Some will be in pasture, some in backyard areas, and some will have access to browse and forage. Overall, the goat's diet should consist of grass, hay, roughage as a primary food source with loose minerals and clean water available at all times. The remainder of your feed plan will vary based upon your space, use, and sex of animal. Bucks in rut, breeding season, and pregnant or milking does will require additional nutrition. This information is a guide of recommendations for designing a nutritional plan that fits your goats. While it's geared more towards pack goats, it'll benefit the majority of goats. Now, bear in mind with meat goats, you can throw all the grain at them you want because you're going to butcher them at a year or 9 months old or whatever your choice is there. And with dairy, the females still eat grain, and we do a little bit of differing things there as well. But if you're a homesteader, raising goats, babies, all that stuff, we speak to all those things within this nutritional guide, as you'll see. So this does apply to, in general, all goat owners. Specifically meat goat, there is a differing plan with this though, because you're not concerned about longevity there. Goats consume forage in the form of browse, pasture, range, and grass. They do well on pasture with access to trees, brush, and forbs, obviously non-toxic ones. And then we include a link that you can find for paying attention to what toxic plants are dangerous for goats. Goats do not require grain to grow to their full healthy size. In some cases, grain may be used to fill in nutritional gaps seasonally or for pregnant or milking does in measured amounts. Grain causes bloat, and large amounts will promote growth of lactic acid bacteria in the rumen. This creates a higher than normal acidic level in the rumen, destroying a natural microorganisms that manage digestion. If choosing to feed grain, it should be introduced slowly to both kids and adults. Kids should not be given more than a half cup, 8 ounces, of grain per day. It is necessary to have free choice baking soda available to avoid bloat. In adults, no more than 1 pound, 16 ounces, should be fed once every day. It is not recommended to allow free choice access to grain or unlimited amounts, especially kids. It's recommended to feed hay prior to feeding grain to slow digestion. Pregnant breeding does. Pregnant breeding does require additional nutrition during this time. A goat's dry matter intake will increase by 2.8% of its body weight. In addition, the does may be provided grain to complete their nutritional needs during gestation. Most does will give birth at 145 to 155 days. Recommendations will vary with the appropriate time to begin providing grain to does. Many suggest beginning 1 cup of grain at day 140 and increasing gradually to 3 pounds throughout the kidding day, while others suggest 2 months prior and 1 month after. This is where it is important to know your goat. In providing excessive amounts of grain to the doe, she can be at risk for a difficult birth. Any excess calories consumed but not utilized go straight to the kids. Increasing the size of the kids in utero creates less rumen and bladder capacity. It may also cause difficulty in the birthing process that could harm the kids and the does. Does should be able to kid by themselves without intervention. Milking does. Milking does may be fed grain at the stand. Introduce additional grain beyond 1 pound gradually. As the milk production increases, plan a date to stop milking your doe. Then begin to decrease the grain amount 4 weeks prior to that date. This process is to gradually reduce the grain over the 4-week period as the doe dries out. Breeding bucks. Bucks may require a larger amount of feed around the time of rut. Some may choose to add a half pound of grain as a supplement for short periods of time. Adding a portion of alfalfa to the grass hay will increase calories during the time of rut. Post-breeding seasons, return to the standard nutritional plan. Wethers. A castrated male goat does not require grain to grow to a healthy size. Importance should be directed towards milk consumption during the first 4 months and the introduction to roughage at week 2. As breeds vary in size and weight, it is recommended to choose your pack goat based upon breed and genetics. A naturally larger breed will be a better choice than overfeeding your goat with grain to grow the biggest pack goat. Urinary calculi. The veterinary treatment of sheep and goat supplements shows that feeding grass ad lib rarely develop urinary obstructions, but it is quite common in animals fed dried foods, cereals, grains, etc. Roughage fed ad lib or free choice reduces the amount of phosphorus in the urine by half. High roughage diets require chewing, which stimulates saliva flow. Phosphorus is excreted in the saliva, swallowed, and excreted via feces rather than by the kidney and urine. A high concentration, low roughage diet has an effect on the excretion of urinary mucoproteins and acts as a focus for phosphorus calcium formation in the kidney. Urinary volume has a direct effect on calculi formation. The higher the flow of urine, the less likely calculi will form. Goats must have a constant supply of clean water. Testing your water for calcium carbonate, phosphorus, sulfur, iron, and nitrates is necessary to include in the calcium-phosphorus ratio. Frequency of feeding has more of an effect than the moisture level in feed. Intermittent feeding triggers a renal response, that's from the kidneys, so that urine production is decreased, increasing urine concentration. Feeding roughage, free choice, stimulates urine production, leading to increased thirst. Normal ruminant urine pH is 6.5 on a free choice roughage diet, and that is alkaline. High cereal diets lower the pH, making the urine acidic. In turn, this lowers calculi. However, creating an environment within the rumen that is too acidic kills the microorganisms for digestion. The goat owner has a balancing act to perform. Essentially, the cereal diet will cause the urine to be acidic, but it will increase the phosphorus level. Bloat. Goats may experience bloat for several reasons. However, bloat is considered a rare occurrence. It is important to treat bloat immediately as it can cause death. Bloat occurs from the fermentation of moist grasses, large amounts of milk, consumption of intermittent bottle feeding, or blockage of large amounts of grain. Prevention is key to avoiding bloat. If you ever want to know how to help your goat with bloat, it's body positioning and give them some Dawn dishwashing soap as a drench. A couple of drops helps them to create bubbles, and then they're able to pass the gas, and you help put them in a body position. There's more information on PackGoats.com for that. Goat owners may have an additional livestock on the property that consume grain, such as chickens or cattle. Grain must be kept inaccessible to goats to avoid free gas bloat. When the goat stops burping to release the gases, the consumption of lush or moist legumes such as clover and alfalfa and wet green pastures can cause frothy bloat. Release goats onto a dry pasture or for short periods of time on moist pastures and monitor. Signs of bloat include restlessness, abdominal discomfort, loss of appetite, increased salivation, distended left side, respiratory distress, and death. Contact your veterinarian immediately if you see signs of bloat in your goat. The use of a stomach tube is the most effective in treating bloat. Some home remedies mix baking soda with water in a drench or soap. It may also be beneficial to supply dry baking soda in a free choice manner to goats. These are only suggestions. So I hope you enjoyed that first. This is, part 1 of the series. Part 2 and part 3 can be found either if you're watching these as they're released here soon, or you're going to easily be able to find them because they're going to be attached to this video. But I do want to say thank you very much. Appreciate your time in watching. I know that if you finished that, then you're interested in making sure you take awesome care of your goats. And just know, for in-depth care of your goats, we have all the courses available: how to raise a baby goat, how to PackGoat 101, how to help your goat have a baby, milking courses, as well as we have a membership where you get to watch me raise goats every month. It's like 20 bucks a month, super affordable, really easy to use. And you get to see me organically troubleshoot problems as they happen on my farm. So I hope you find that helpful.